very secure in that one, but it's been a long time since then. There's been multiple patches as well. How have teams adapted? How have teams improved? Time to see. Right off the bat, LeBlanc ban, no big surprise.
I'm a little surprised by that, only because Pobelter would be a very good LeBlanc player as well. Last time these games happened between Winterfox and Team 8, Pobelter played a Lulu mid lane, which was highly criticized, mainly because Pobelter needs to be on a carry-style champion, generally for Winterfox to win, and that didn't bring them any of that. But they still ban away LeBlanc just to deny Slushie, meaning I wonder what Pobelter has up his sleeve to play.
Well, pretty much instant bans from Winterfox the whole way through. Porpoise on an individual playmaker, the same for Cali Trolls and Slushie. Largely one-way bans, but you can see Team 8 trying to remove team-fighting powerful top laners from Avalon. The Rek'Sai away from Helios. Lulu first pick for Winterfox.
Will we see a return of Pobelter's mid lane Lulu? Or is this going to be the top lane Lulu for Avalon, which would make the most sense?
I agree.
They keep trying to put Avalon on these big initiation tank champions, but he falls behind in a lot of his games, so it would be more ideal for him to just be able to build some CDR, AP, and support the carries of the team. I hope that's what they're doing.
I do too, for the sake of Winterfox here. It's what they're most successful at, is a supportive top laner who can just kind of show up in the team fights. What I also want to see is what style Team 8 plays. We talked at the beginning of the day about, will Cali Trolls carry a little bit more now that we can play more tank junglers and feel comfortable for it? Porpoise, one of his most known champions, is Nocturne, and you can maybe build him a bit tankier. He got some buffs as well. But it looks like even with a Rek'Sai ban, he's still going to go back to a fighter here. Early pressure, early gank power, carry ability, Vi once again.
And we are on the 5.5 patch. Cinderhulk is in. Many tank junglers were buffed from their base stat perspective, and Vi was nerfed in two different areas, both the move speed and the base damage on the ultimate. Yet North America is standing strong. The level 6 ganks and the team fight target selection that Vi provides have shown up in the games today. Vi has been looking very good in the North American LCS.
Yeah. Well, looks like fighter jungler is still in vogue here, and with a Rek'Sai ban and an early Vi pick, they're certainly trying to get Helios off of that. Seems like Jarvan, the jungler from that pool that's most neglected, I suppose,
Sejuani.
And Helios says, yeah, okay, you have early pressure, I've got team fight power, Sejuani is in here, and more team fight power with Janna as well, so a lot of beef so far in the lineup and plenty of shielding.
Also pork from the pig, right?
Depends on what skin he picks.
That's true, he could be a bear, which I don't think you call beef.
Probably
There's
not.
A special name for bear meat. Someone will
Manly
give
is
the answer to that. It is not that. I like this. There's no Sejuani ban, and it's not something we've gotten to see much of in North American LCS. It started to make its appearance in the last week of LCS play, but I think is really, really powerful here. As long as Winterfox makes sure to bring enough damage in their last two choices, they need a heavy damage dealer from the AD carry position. I'm hoping for something like Lucian to better synergize with the Lulu. And then Pobelter, whether it's on an AD mid to keep the resistance on the enemy team honest, or a heavily damaged dealer mid laner, otherwise Winterfox will be lacking in that department.
All right, well, Team 8 going to say, go ahead and pick your damaging mid laner. We're going to counter-pick you. Lucian is the insta-lock here, in fact. It's commonly touted as a counter-pick to Graves.
Damage.
Yeah, there you go, the Karthus. So, Victor disabled, by the way, this week due to bugs we saw in Europe yesterday. So Karthus being the go-to mid-range, high-damage, spitting-out team fighter. And Winterfox have their lineup. You know exactly where everyone's going in this one. It is Lulu top after all. In fact, only one swap required for Winterfox to lock in their lineup, so even less keystrokes.
Yeah, we're going to get to see the return of the Cali Trolls AP Gragas. Third time he'll be bringing that out this year.
I mean, if you do it, I'm happy, but that's probably not happening.
Keen's not on this team that I know of.
Lock it in, is the cheer from the audience. Well, Team 8 wants to send a message with this game. The message for Slushie is, what can you play other than LeBlanc?
True.
They pulled a LeBlanc ban. He played Orianna. They lost that game against Team 8 in Week 7. It's going to be Orianna anyway.
He is definitely one of the better Oriannas I've seen in the LCS here. And Karthus is a champion that is not that great at avoiding the Orianna ultimate, something that has kind of pushed Orianna down a little bit is the high mobility that a lot of these teams are bringing, and it's making it harder to land the ultimates. That aside from just the general wave clear potential of Orianna, Orianna was a champion that really heavily relied on the Athene's mana regen back last season, and with that being reduced, her lane presence is vastly diminished. Against Karthus, however, it is a bit of a farm lane, so Slushie should be able to power up quite well.
Looks like it might be a safe game for Team 8, and the question is, with the top laner Avalon being fairly weak so far in the laning phase, this might actually allow Calitrols to play the style he's wanted to most this season. Go be aggressive, go carry. We did see it backfire against TSM when he went 2-6 on Gragas. Dyrus able to withstand that pressure, the rest of the team able to gank him. This might work just a bit better for the Team 8 roster overall, but keep in mind this is back to that, I think, very strong Winterfox lineup. I think they're much stronger than we're used to seeing them play.
That's the hope
in the last couple of weeks.
With Winterfox coming in with this. I mean, yes, they did find success with Glebe on their team last time, but they've been doing so many changes. It's not like Glebe's been there the whole time practicing. They now have to reestablish that amount of compatibility they have on the team.
True. Where the dual lanes played a lot together, but we're going to see how they do in this game. Once again, we're turning to you guys on Twitter to get your game predictions. Vote with hashtag WFXWin or hashtag T8Win to @LOL Esports with each twist and turn of the game. Guys, Game 5 is in front of us here. The battle to stay in the playoff race certainly on the line. Winterfox versus Team 8.
And again, there's some anti-synergy built into that Team 8 composition because they're comboing Gragas with Orianna. You can't have the Gragas ultimate fly in with the Orianna ultimate or some bad things happen. It didn't work that well against Team Solomid.
It looks like it is Dodo who needs a little something from one of our highly lauded referees.
Hopefully the fix was that fast. She's like, oh, yeah, you just press that button.
Yeah. I don't know how to close my menu. Escape. Oh, yeah, it's gone now. Cool. But we'll see what ends up happening here. So, champ select is done. Gragas, Vi, Orianna, Graves, Morgana. One thing I do like with champions like Vi are picking a Morgana. I like Morgana especially against Janna, not in a lane matchup scenario where I actually think Janna has a slight edge, but in a team fight scenario where you are no longer able to blow back that really annoying frontliner who just dived your team. And oftentimes it's hard to break the black shield in time either. Lulu will low damage top laner. Karthus oftentimes not aiming for the front line with lay waste either. Sometimes that shield holds up long enough to let Vi do her job, for example.
Especially considering that Sejuani's Bola connects with the first target of the hit. So if you got a big tank with black shield in the front of your team, you can completely negate a Sejuani ultimate by doing that, which could be very important. There could potentially be a mastery bug for Dodo 8, so they are determining whether or not right now if it was player error or if it fits the reproduction steps for the bug.
Yeah, he's currently running something close to 21 offense. He's got 6% armor magic pen. So I don't even know why he has that page except unless he's playing like Annie or Zyra or something hyper aggressive. But it's really not the style of pick we normally see from Morgana. Certainly not high utility either. Only has 3 potions. So
if it were to be a remake, Game of Record has not yet been established, so it would be remade with the same picks and bans.
Yep. Same summoner spells.
See on that. I do want to talk a little bit more about the Orianna pick, though, into the Karthus, only because I touched on it briefly in picks and bans, but I can go a little bit more into that. I think Orianna, when she was a huge meta pick, in large part did it because of her ability to lane against pretty much everyone and win. Since then, there's been a couple of things that have happened to Ori to take her down to more of that team fight utility mage instead of a lane bully.
Yeah.
She lost 6 attack damage at one point, which hurt her trading. But beyond that, it was the mana cost, the mana regen of Athene's Unholy Grail changing with the reformation of that system.
Yeah.
So therefore, she can't use her shield as much as well as the wave clear. And if you want the same level of mana regen, you have to go Morellonomicon. But when you go Morellonomicon, you lose your trading potential. So Orianna can't have all those strengths together anymore. She can't shove the lane and roam, which honestly, even though you think of Orianna as that just strong laning champion, was all about the roaming and pressure you could get. Whereas now you're pretty much just trapped farming and hoping to get to team fight instead of impacting the game before then. But good players can still do it. Slushie, pick, and Ori.
Yeah, we'll see if Slushie can do that. And of course, with a lot of time to spend with Team 8 to practice the team fighting, practice the team comps, practice everything, Porpoise has been saying that last week's bye was actually invaluable. It gave them an opportunity to experiment and shake up the playbook.
Usually in the LCS season, I feel like teams don't get to try too much new stuff because you only have a week to practice, so you're kind of chipping away at new champions and things like that. So when you come to the end of the week, you're like, oh, I just need to practice these champions we're going to play for LCS. So you don't get that time to iron out these new champions or new play styles. So this week actually gives us extra time to try out these new combinations or champions that we want to bring out. So it's good.
Well, they said they want to bring out new things, but really a lot of the same kind of stuff for Team 8 here. Playing what's worked for them overall. And as an update onto the pause situation, it has been determined it was player error, not a bug, so the game will just be continuing as it is. Dodo heading in with 21 offense masteries, 2109, I believe, because he's got biscuits. So
not the most disastrous mastery page.
It's got ability power on it.
There. If you build a little AP on Morgana, it's not the end of the world. It will make him squishier in the laning phase, though, which means he's got to be a little bit more respectful of Altec if they end up having that 2v2 lane.
That's true. Dodo actually walking in the lane with 64 attack damage. I don't think that's normally what Morgana spawns with, so maybe 20 on offense with physical damage on that page. But either way, small change. We'll see what happens here. Pobelter and Slushy trading looks in the mid lane. Callie and Avalon just going to dance. You know, they're going to be hanging out a lot together, and then one's going to leave and teleport out.
Break the truce.
Yeah.
Looks like they've actually been throwing some spells at each other in that top lane.
Yeah, Calitro's lost some health. Truce broken. The blood feud is on. Okay, so Glebe Tech back together. These guys have actually been playing together
There's
for a
a
very
large
long
history
time.
behind these guys.
Yeah. They're back on the old Cloud9 Tempest lineup that nearly made it into the LCS on their own right. They got picked up here by Winterfox, and it's
well, not just that.
Them pretty well.
They split up.
Yeah.
Altec was on Evil Geniuses last year.
Well, yeah.
Started the split on TSM. They've been together and separated so many times, but it's a touching story always getting to play back together with each other. But they need to be able to find success here so that they can maintain Winterfox's spot in the LCS. They are safe from auto-relegation. Coast has, unfortunately, 1-14 record, meaning no one can have a worse record than Coast at the end of the year. So at the very worst, Winterfox will get to play a best-of-5 against a challenger team to stay in.
And we'll see if it comes to
Cali
that.
Trolls.
Trolls. No, he's fine.
Buddy.
He's timing his Q coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's actually very well rehearsed. Yeah, no, that was easy. You saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Now, it is worth pointing out, though, Avalon actually stole the Gromp away from Helios, so they were actually both level 1 coming into the blue buff.
Really?
I don't know how on purpose that was, but it definitely happened here. And Avalon was not given the blue buff. That did go to Helios, all said and done.
Were they expecting a lane swap?
I think so. I mean, they didn't see anyone for a while.
Because that's one of the strangest things. If Avalon just pulled for Helios, ran to top lane, everything would have been A-okay, but because of the delay from Cali Trolls, I suppose, either way, that's just the continuation of a very troubling trend for Winterfox. They've been doing so much double jungling with Helios and Avalon, and in many ways, Helios is one of the best players on Winterfox. In every game, it feels like he is set behind because of the double jungling he's been doing with Avalon, and then just start with a double jungled Gromp in a match when there's not even a lane swap.
Yeah.
Immediately puts Porpoise ahead of Helios in the jungle.
And it's going to put things in an interesting perspective as we move on throughout this game. Porpoise going to spend some time to regenerate as he takes down the Scuttler, but Helios there to meet him.
Interesting.
Smite down for both. I think with a Q he's going to get it. Yep. Nice try, Helios.
Yeah, not the best right there. Unfortunately, the crab did not juke back towards the Sejuani, the very randomized pathing of the Scuttle Crab. Smart of Porpoise to finish that off, and then really good they didn't get hit by that Sejuani dash.
Yeah, would have been a pretty painful trade. Would have had to fight back. Down. Wow, Altec going right into the face. The extra Janus Shield, though, makes those trades pretty easy. Not afraid of Dark Binding. Must have been on cooldown, and a re-engaged Porpoise pushes Helios out of the jungle.
To be fair, that actually hurts Team 8 in the long run. They did not steal the big camp. Helios did not burn a summoner, and he was going to shop anyways. It is just this one camp that Porpoise may be able to counter jungle. Glebe, though, sees him.
Hello.
Doesn't even let him get the big one. So Porpoise actually a little bit behind from that maneuver.
Cleve and Altex can be like, hey, great, thanks for partnering for us. Have health Krug, why not? 60 gold, 55, something like that? 60.
60 at this point in the game, for sure.
That's his first spawn. I don't think the gold changes till it respawns, right? I could be wrong. I don't remember
that
the
is some
anymore.
jungle specifics that I'm not completely up to date on.
That's fine.
Unfortunately.
Either way, though. Ooh, Poe Belzer. Taking a page out of Sion's book.
Yeah.
The flash. It's not going to land the knock-up, though, but Calitro's still forced to run. Ooh, that's a really good hit, though. He's got to be careful. No flash up, but Helios cannot quite reach. Flash trade, no kill.
If Helios executes a little bit better there, they get the kill on the Calitrolls. You can do Q flash on Sejuani, much like you see it with a Shen, Taunt, Flash, or any of the other extend the range of the person's spells. But Helios just misses the knockup. Calitrolls gets out with a small bit of health. And both junglers actually starting this game a little bit behind.
All right, well, right now it's actually overall ended up with a Team 8 minion lead here. The bot lane up by 5, the top lane up by 9. Calitrolls, despite receiving a gank, is safe for now and slowly regenerating back up. Avalon did back for some new items. The second Doran's Ring is what his booty is going to be. Calitrolls will be able to back significantly later and maybe get most of his sheen on his.
I mean, this early game from Winterfox, just from the jungle start, automatically sets them back. Avalon didn't get a full camp, whereas Calitrolls did. And then Calitrolls actually beat Avalon to lane.
Yeah, you're right.
Start of the game, which you could see that CS advantage being 11 already. Like, that's not a surprise based on what happened at level 1. You're taking a player who already struggles in lane in Avalon, and then immediately putting him in a disadvantage with a really questionable start.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they both got to last hit like a full camp, technically, with Avalon stealing, and they like shared the blue buffs. But yeah, being late to lane and everything that's happened since then, the gank got a flash advantage, right? A repeat gank might work for Helios if he can get behind him and land the Q, but Porpoise right now controlling Scuttler. He's going to try to keep some more ward control for the top side of the map. Now only really a lane gank or a wall jump will let Helios in. See if that ends up mattering.
Honestly, Sejuani does have some early gank potential, but it's not that great. Helios pretty much needs to farm up to level 6 before he can make an impact, and I think Porpoise will do well if he can try and match that pace.
Let's see. Well, keeping track of jungler experience then.
Porpoise is pretty far behind too. Relative to each other, they're doing okay, but we're 7 minutes into the game, and Porpoise literally just hit level 5. Junglers should be getting close to level 6 around 7:30, 7:45, whereas I guess Porpoise is.
I guess they're 2 camps away, right? Oh! Altek! Metagame in the normal puddle position and gets himself just out of reach of what that would be. So gets the safe recall for BF Sword. In fact, recall on 62 CS. Maple with a late one for himself, but will match the items either way. Dota should have sight. Oh!
What is
without vision! Glebe. Just way better with his skill shot accuracy.
Yeah. Total guess. Do another one.
I want to see it. Aww.
Jeez, that more kind of recall sound.
Okay, Belter behind the wall. Slushi getting a little bit of a trade, but it's a blue buff tiered up Poe Belter. So Karthus able to farm. It will, by the way, be the Athene's build from Slushi. You mentioned, you know, the various strengths and weaknesses of Morellan Opcon versus Athene's, but Chalice means it's going to be Athene's.
It's the build that's needed against Karthus. Karthus will just do so much accidental damage in a team fight that without the Athenes, Orianna is going to end up just dying by mistake sometimes. Now, you add the Armor and MR from the Orianna ball on top of the Athene's MR, and she can be quite safe in team fights.
All right, we'll see how Slushi can get himself around in these ones, getting ever so slightly out-farmed. The jungles have respawned, and 8.5 minutes in, both these junglers have reached level 6. Porpoise now with his red buff. The blue is up and available. Pelter, of course, was already handed over his blue. Dodo not yet 6, but only 2 waves away as we start getting ultimates on most of the players. The AD carries have theirs as well, so only the support's missing out. Never given all the experience.
Laning phase is holding quite even, though. Even that top lane for Avalon versus Calitrolls, it seems to be equalizing quite well. Slushi in a farm lane against Karthus. A lot of this will just be about the level 6 ganks of the junglers, whether they can meet up in the right spot.
Well, that spot right now looks to be topside for Helios, showing up for a lane gank up here. They flash, still down for about 5 seconds on Calitrolls, and now it's up. So if they time it properly, they should know he can flash away from a Glacial Prison.
Yeah, very, very hard to gank a Gragas, especially if he's in a farm mode and not using his body slam aggressively. The only reason you call this gank is if Calitrolls was trying to bully and use his body slam. If not, he has flash and body slam and ultimate and his Q slow to escape. It's a bit much.
Well, we'll see if he's forced to blow any of these cooldowns last sitting under the turret as Avalon is pushing in and letting Helios sneak all the way in. Binding will dodge. Glebe's going to be fine. Pretty color-coordinated lane overall, I gotta say. Blue outfits for all of them, actually.
Well, Calitrolls ulted for Harass.
Wow, yep. So, hey, that's one cooldown down. It was worth asking, and actually the answer is yes, he does blow his ultimate.
But I still don't see this working. Oh, he body slams?
All right, he's out of mana, kind of. Now, this is the second wave in a row pushing her turret. Helios waited around and said he was looking for a counter gank. He thought Corvus was showing up, and was like, if you show, I'll kill you.
Maybe. That has to be it, but that is a...
He didn't try to gank, certainly.
That is a big risk. They didn't have any information. Their ward coverage was low. If they'd spotted Porpoise maybe on that side of the map, they could have done something, but if you're literally just up there because you have a sense that there will be a counter gank 10.5 minutes into the game, you gotta reevaluate your strategy in League of Legends right there because that is way too chancy.
Yeah. Well, certainly fans of Pokemon, they go for the chancy move anyway, and Winterfox, though, with the good ward, will stop the Dragon attempt by Porpoise. They realize that Glebe and Helios were on their way over, and Dragon will get some much-needed rest. He fought a Vi. It's hard work. So he sits on down, but Glebe back to the lane. 6 CS, right? Very, very close here in the bottom lane. Maple Street and Dodo, we don't talk about them much, but they seem to always get out of lane just fine.
Yeah.
And they're doing so once again against Glebe and Altec, who also kind of, we talk about them as like, well, you know, Altec shows up in team fights, he just farms, and then, you know, he gets the kills.
Especially when it's the Altec-Glebe duo. When we saw Altec-Krepo, there was a bit more aggression, but Altec-Glebe is a passive lane a lot of the time as far as just their ability to farm. And here, even though he's aggressively dashing in, it's a lot of farming.
Wow.
Whoa! Where did he come?
Flank on Pobelter without an assist either. Shockwave hits Avalon, but he lands the stun onto Calitrolls. Out goes the Gragas, but there's no follow-up damage left. Winterfox forced to run away from this one.
I'll have to get a replay on that because Calitrolls manages to make it to the mid lane. He does have... He must have just walked down there through an unwarded spot and killed Pobelter clean up.
No wards in that river.
Yeah.
He showed up. Wasn't even assisted, like he just bursted the guy out with a Sheen Gragas, so hey.
Way to do it. Yeah, he walks behind in the river. No lane pressure from the Lulu. Sejuani gank had failed earlier. And Pobelter is trying to shove up the lane, so he just straight up bursts him. Really late exhaust from Pobelter.
Yeah.
And
It comes Avalon like 40 seconds late, and nothing's going to be done for that one.
Not the best showing there early on from Winterfox. They need to outscale this one, which in my opinion means Helios might want to change his strategy a little bit to farming, but he needs to be here to protect the bot lane. Vi ultimate, no Sej ultimate.
Wow,
Pretty
that
important.
tornado was more clutch than you even realized at first, Glebe, but dodges the binding from Fog and knocks up the Vi and Fog as well. Could have been a very quick kill picked up there after you layer the ulti.
I don't think Winterfox necessarily wins this 3v3 with the ultimate disadvantage.
Nope.
They do have the Karthus ultimate.
That's true.
So maybe it's not as much of a disadvantage as we'd be thinking.
Just got to be careful about where Pobelter lands the ult from because Shockwave is now up for Slushy, so it requires a bit of premeditation. There's these like 20% windows where Shockwave will just pull you out of it and your team overextends for it. Pobelter is on top of a ward, so if he sneaks left to do that, he will be spotted out and maybe stopped. This turtle's losing a lot of health. The pressure lead that Oriana's had this lane is actually seemingly working out quite well. Now stuck under his turret means Porpoise will try again for Dragon.
Yeah.
The top of a ward. Helios does not have flash. If he goes in, he can't get out. He's not going to attempt the steal. Quick pick up. Dragon number 1 and First Blood have gone to Team 8. They're up 600 gold overall.
And pretty much, you know, 400 of that gold is actually on the junglers. Surprising because the CS numbers look really close, but Porpoise has just been getting much more valuable camps. He's had really good Scuttle Crab control the whole game.
Yeah, and Vi wants to take Gromp a lot more, so like the numbers deflate, but that's worth 90 gold itself, so junglers can lie to you, sure.
Helios has been incredibly ineffective and inefficient in this early game. It's typically okay on tank junglers like Sejuani because they scale so well off of base damage and W and E to not have an early game impact, but you need to at least be ensuring your late game. What Helios has been doing is spending a huge amount of time in lanes and getting nothing out of it while not keeping up his farm. He doesn't even have his completed jungle item right now.
Right.
Because he has gone Sightstone, yet where are the wards necessarily going here? The roam in the bottom lane, the roam to the mid lane already cost the mid laner his life, and Helios again trying to help out this top lane where the lane is always pushed beyond 2/3, so there's no real gank there.
The weird thing is, like, he's got a Sightstone, and it's 3 of 3 wards placed. Like, theoretically, vision is on the map. In fact, it is. And yet, it's so dark, he's like, well, I hope there's a gank coming, because I'm counter-ganking the gank I don't see. Vi really nowhere to be seen. She's kind of on that side of the map, but Helios wasting time again. And losing out in gold as Porpoise gets, I want to say, like his 5th consecutive Scuttle Crab at this point.
Yeah, as far as the jungle goes as well, time is money. Every time he's not there, it's jungle that he could be clearing. And yeah, that gold difference is now around 700 just in the jungle.
Avalon seems to sniff out that Vi was around somewhere. A couple of wards go down from him. He actually got the upgraded trinket, by the way. So Avalon also putting wards down in the top lane, and top turret is going to be pressured. So Porpoise, you know, gets away from Helios like ships in the night and just pushes his top lane turret down. Never to be seen again. Gets it down to half HP. Slushie going to make the same play here in the mid lane. And for all of Helios' attempts, he's just not done anything at all this game and stopping these turrets from being pressured.
Finishes Cinderhulk. Needs to try and make an impact. Otherwise, it feels like teammates going to try and find this skirmish game. So Winterfox also has a pretty strong late game here, which is why I'm so surprised that Helios is trying so hard to get an early game edge right here. But yeah, Avalon gets jumped on.
Couple of barrels flash in for both. Ulti's not going to mean much. Helios stuns him and says, never mind. I'll get some farm.
Great CC chain right there by Team 8. Porpoise and Calitroll showing superior synergy in that top lane. Helios at the very least can get a little bit of minion farm. He needs to just farm his jungle.
Yeah, to your point, it was... And by the way, he tried to counter gank twice, and eventually the gank did happen, just not at the time he was hoping.
What's a counter gank going to do at that point? It's a Vi Gragas. Their burst is so extraordinary.
Yeah.
That you almost need to preempt it. Yeah, okay.
I think he thought he was going to get bursted out and had to not die.
So, enough focusing on the junglers here. Let's look at the larger picture of this match. But actually, there's a teleport.
Hold on, yeah, this is actually a big knock around. The flash comes in, he's trying to get away. Karthus ult will secure, not much just yet. Nice dodge by Altec. It's going to be Dodo falling down. A slow from Calitrolls. Actually, Glitterlance misses. Can Dodo make the outplay happen? Altec's shield, though, makes him tanky. They're going to bring down Calitrolls, and now Dodo is the focus. It's a 2-for-0 fight so far. Dodo on the way out.
Goodbye.
Pobelter says, hello, thank you for the kill. 3-0 fight. Helios now forced to flash out from Slushie.
Yeah, and just like that, it looks like Winterfox might be in a good position this game because the larger picture of this game is everyone working around the carries of Winterfox, Pobelter, and Altec. This is going to keep going. Helios trying to get some revenge on Porpoise here. Level 9 on Sejuani. Is he going to get him?
The slow's got to be up on the cap. There it is.
W's up really soon.
Damage. Oh, has to Q on it. That could be the kill. One more shot. He put the challenging smite in, and it gave him enough damage reduction to live. Both smite charges were up for Porpoise. He used one when he killed the turret, one on the way out. The damage reduction keeps him alive, but it will mean top turret is traded.
And yeah, the turrets are going to be even here, and Winterfox is going to actually pull ahead in this game. Just, I feel like off the back of Pobelter and Altec's laning phase.
Ooh, speaking of Pobelter's laning phase, though, he exhausts a bit late. Ignite is on from Slushie. His flash is down, though, and he can't chase this one out.
This game is just starting to get a little bit crazy.
Speaking of crazy, Calitrolls takes a glacial prison to the face, runs away, but that's an ulti down from Avalon and Helios.
All right, Freak. The larger picture of this game,
maybe.
The point I keep trying to make here as action explodes across the map is because of the Gragas-Orianna combo on Team 8, and even with Vi as a jungler, it is a very pick-based, skirmish-based team. They're going to need to get split pushing opportunities, the roaming opportunities, and jungle opportunities in order to win. If we get straight up team fights, even with the gold differential, Winterfox could still end up winning this, and the gold is pretty close. That's a pick, though.
That is a pick, and it's going to be a dead Pobelter whose ulti is down, so it's a nice, easy stroll out. But here comes Altec. He's afraid of 3 people. Kills the ward and backs on out, but Team 8, get that pick?
Yeah, and they need to continue to make things like that happen, because Altec is going to be a very, very scary Lucian. He's going Infinity Edge and most likely Phantom Dancer for the max amount of auto attack damage, added with the Janus Shield, added with the AP Lulu picks damage in potential team fights, plus all the Karthus AoE. There is just a ton of damage on that Winterfox that they locked in with those last 2 picks, and despite the slow early game and their inability to make much happen in the top lane, Altec has created an advantage for himself that may be enough to carry Winterfox through here.
That might be the case. He's certainly ahead of his opposite member, Maple Street, in item breakpoints here. But Team 8 choosing to try to buy this time with Pobelter just recently respawned. Avalon does not have teleport and shows in the top lane. There is no contest for this. Turret number 2 goes down. Sorry, Dragon number 2 goes down. All 3 turrets are already dropped. Helios trades the Dragon for a red buff steal. That's kind of nice to have. But all said and done, Team 8.
To me, the Pobelter has gone Rylak's second item on Karthus. I thought he was going to be going the Shao of the tier Catalyst to Roa, slow building up.
Yeah.
Like that, but the Rylai's will give him a little bit more immediate power, and he shouldn't necessarily have mana concerns because he ended up starting tier, and may end up helping him as he walks into team fights, stop teammate from kiting a little bit. I actually think this may be a better build than the Roa build, because it's a little bit more immediate power and because of the slow.
Yeah. It's the build the jungle Karthus would use, actually. Not just speaking to a Zingy, but there were a couple of players who played it at the very beginning of the season. And it was tier into Riot. That was the standard build for the junglers out there. Obviously, Megas Enchant. And yeah, just the immediate power helps a little bit there. Bottom lane going to get pushed out pretty easily by Altec, clears them away.
He has 2 levels on Maple Street.
Yeah, and that turret's going to start taking some very real damage. With a Janus Shield, just there's a lot that comes out there. And plenty of attack speed on the build means those turrets take big chunks out. Porpoise barely spots the ward in his own jungle, which lets him clear this away. Blue buff up for Team 8. And it will not be Winterfox trying to contest. So, mid-game stalling out just a little bit. No one's been under pressure for the last couple of minutes.
And we need to take a look at the distribution of power on these teams. Altec has a 1,000 gold lead on Maple Street, whereas there is a 1,000 gold lead from Porpoise over Helios, and then a slight gold lead of Cali Trolls onto Avalon. Basically, if Team 8 can use their pick potential to take down Altec, I think they win this one. But if they continue to use this stuff on the people that are not farmed on Winterfox, Winterfox could end up winning the team fights based off of Altec's power. But he flashes out of that shockwave.
Good Black Shield means only Porpoise gets caught. The fight begins, and Altec loses a lot of health, but Porpoise will still be the one to fall down first. Dodo cannot land a lot of stuns, but maybe enough to pick up 1 kill. Shields come in time to keep him alive a few more seconds. Double kill from Requiem. Solo kill in the meantime as Cali Trolls picks 1 up, but it's a 3-for-2 in Winterfox's favor.
And Team 8 tried. They tried really hard to get Altec locked down right there, but because the initiation came in from Helios, no matter what happens a lot of times on Sejuani, you can still be effective in the mid-game because of the incredible power and base damages on those abilities. Landed the bola on 1, second target had a black shield, and Winterfox ends up winning the extended fight.
So Altec is going to play the wave clear game, and he's getting a lot of his team's farm. Strange to see a person who's not Karthus win in minion kills on the team, but that's going to happen.
True. Take a look at this one, very timely black shield. Otherwise, I feel like Ori would have been done for. But because Helios got so much damage on a Porpoise, it allowed Altec to peel him off for the most part. And 1 more hit from that Vi, I feel like Altec would have gone down and it would have been an even fight. Karthus ult, though, right at the end comes in as Cali Trolls. Ooh, really close to being able to clean up there, actually.
Burned his
fascinating game.
Oh, yeah.
Not the cleanest by any means. Definite errors from Helios. But Winterfox kind of getting back to basics. Pobelter and Altec on carry champions. I feel like they make a quick gameplay adjustment. Focus a little bit more on Sejuani farming and supporting the solo lanes and kind of leaving Avalon up there. And they'd be winning this game by quite a lot.
And so far, so good. Winterfox staunching the bleeding in a lot of places. They're getting farm on pretty much everyone. You're seeing the lanes close to parity overall, and it's Altec actually putting on split push pressure. One thing with Lucian showing back up is he's pretty mobile. He gets away from ganks decently. W into R, you can kite back. And with him being ahead, he's putting a lot of pressure on the side lanes that he's kind of the only champion position to do so. Pobelter kind of has to stay mid and just hold the minions there.
Yeah, and Altec's getting that level advantage because of his split pushing. You know, Maple Street's caught trying to catch up to him, but it's a level 14 Lucian versus a level 12 Graves.
And there's something to be said for actually about AD carry levels in the late game. We don't talk about it much anymore, but at the beginning of 2015, we changed how level ups work, where the later levels are actually worth more stats. A 2-level lead actually means more 14 to 12 than it does 6 to 8 in terms of stat value.
Yeah.
And as an AD carry, you care about a lot of the level ups. Attack speed gains, health gains, attack damage gains. Pretty big deal in terms of not getting one shot and then putting damage back out.
Not to mention just the straight up value of the skills.
Sure.
Right?
More dashes, why not?
Maple Street. Teammate a little bit stuck here. They seem to have such a smooth early game, but Porpoise on Vi hasn't been able to take the biggest of advantages, and it feels like they have a pretty inferior team fight at this point unless Slushie can land a really nice shockwave. Not to mention that Altec is creating all this split push pressure that normally a Vi would shut down, but Porpoise has gone walk it because of all the magic damage threats in the team fight. Therefore, his actual dueling on Altec is inferior, and if he tried to kill Altec, he would probably just die himself.
Yeah, he's trying to like supplement it with the challenging smite upgrade, being like, well, it's going to be a hard, but maybe this helps tip it over the edge. But you're right, no armor items still to boot on the inventory, making life difficult. Teammate mostly sharing farm, you can kind of see across their, or two of their carry lanes, or two ranged carries. Gragas, Calitros, 3-1 and 0, going for a Zhonya's Hourglass next. Can be plenty disruptive here. If you can knock back Pobelter, that actually will be pretty big for him. Yeah, maybe they can solo out Altec.
I think the X factor in all this, though, is Slushie's Orianna. He's farmed so well. Out-farming the Karthus.
True.
Very impressive. And with Death Cap, close to Void Staff, if he lands an ultimate, it's huge. Plus, 3 Dragons to 0 is nothing to laugh off.
Absolutely true. It's a pretty big deal here. Calitros is in the front line. Black Shield on. Mid-turret low actually does go down. Nice play by Winterfox. Tying up the turret door. Ult comes in. Only a slow. Only lands on 2. Big ulti down. Can teammate re-engage?
I think they want to, but it's just not there because Team Winterfox is a little bit too kitey.
How confident are you in pressuring Baron right now?
Pretty confident.
There's no wards up at all for Winterfox. Now, teammate can't guarantee that knowledge, but the fact still stands.
It's a giant wave that teammate wants to clear away. I feel like they're just going to continue farming the lanes out and send someone up there to get the massive amounts of gold.
Yeah, the more risk-averse style. Don't take a 50-50 on Baron when you can get the guaranteed farm top lane.
It's
almost
too big,
regardless
it's
of the
just
odds.
too big of a wave.
Yep, it is. It's a bunch of gold you really care about here, and teammate will pick it up. Misses one. All right, blue buff will go over easily to Slushie. Of course, they did get a blue buff steal a second ago, so we are, with Pobelter, missing a blue buff. So relying just on his sheer mana regen.
Slushie is going to be hitting a giant power spike as well with Void Staff complete as soon as he goes
afford
back
it.
to base.
Yeah. That's right now.
I wonder, did he... Yeah, alright. Just the Void Staff. Pobelter has a Void Staff as well, but no Death Cap, since he went for the Tier Rylai's build. If Avalon can complete his Death Cap, that would be a large amount of Pix damage. Altec, of course, with his Last Whisper as well. So some definite power spikes actually approaching and being completed by both teams. Just kind of re-upping the importance on individual players in this game.
Yeah, 2,000 gold disparity on the 80 carries.
It's an entire Last Whisper right now.
It's more than. He can't afford the item.
And a Vamp Scepter. Oh,
exactly.
Geez.
Yeah, and Maple can get a BF sword or a pickaxe.
Yeah, BF sword
right
it is. There's not any armor on Winterfox, so he doesn't need Last Whisper yet.
That's true.
Quite honestly, Altec didn't need the Last Whisper either. He probably should have gone for his Bloodthirster instead of the Last Whisper, especially since they're in this shieldy type team, just playing to that strength and building more of it. Might have been a little bit smarter.
Well, it will make his spell damage go up, so his Q and R, if he's just trying to burst people out,
Yeah.
it's still better with Last Whisper than Ruin King, or sorry, Bloodthirster, but I tend to agree. You're going to see their builds diverge for a bit here, and Winterfox just staying grouped up in the mid lane. Graves far away right now. Maple Street not able to join his team just yet. Winterfox have the inside track on Baron Vision, and in fact, they're getting that. The yellow trinket from Avalon helping to get wards down in this upper jungle. Teammate relying on just a few sweepers to try to get Vision back, but Winterfox really controlling this. Maple Street forced to retreat.
Teammate is actually in a lot of trouble right now because they cannot safely force team fights against the counter engage of Sejuani and Karthus. So really, Teammate needs to find ways to stall this out and somehow get to 5 dragons because they're at a point where they're losing team fights and don't have a superior split push threat. Maybe they get something down with Gragas. They're actually just trying to stall this one out and trying to get the dragon win condition.
Well, Calitro's pushing mid in the meantime. He's got a Lich Bane and just slams that barrel into the building, throws one out for a Lich Bane proc. His turret might die on this wave. Calitro's.
Well, there might be a fight during the collapse. They got to be really careful.
Got to be the temp. He's not far away. 2-man ice barrier prison going in. Belter gets one shot, but down goes Dodo on the same side. Avalon a bit low. They're going to re-engage top of this one. They look for Helios of all players. Calitro's putting the burst down. Forced to get away, though. Altec is huge, and he hasn't died. Be careful of Lucian Slushy. The crits come in. They take him out.
There's Altec.
And now the chase. Glebe is fast, can lead his team to a fight. 3 versus 4 on the map. Maple Street forced to run away. Altec can reach him with the Whimsy. Looks for the crits. Smokescreen buys a bit more time. But Porpoise now on the wrong side of the fight. Helios able to grab that one. There's the permafrost. Jukes Helios' move. But there's still nowhere for Porpoise to go. He's on boots 1. He doesn't run very fast.
Yeah, I feel like it's only a matter of time. It's just...
New award.
How much time will this really be?
Well, mid's getting pushed right now by the other 2 members. Now, it's the duo lane versus the duo lane, actually.
Get away.
Gragas is flanking. They actually got to be careful for Altec right now. But he can dodge away from that.
Altec went pretty much untouched in that entire fight.
Yep. Vi ulted Sejuani. There's almost no world in which that's smart.
I agree. We'll watch this fight one more time. Remember, Gragas wasn't here at the start. It was really the Karthus wall that forced them into this. Great ultimate by Slushy. But Maple Street missed his buckshot, could only land his ultimate, and then Teammate comes into this fight late. Notice how Altec is over the top of the wall, so the way Calitro's entered the fight actually made it so he couldn't provide any backline threat. What Teammate needs to do if they want to win these team fights is actually have Gragas become a bit of a Lucian assassin, because clearly speaking, if they don't get a large amount of damage on that guy with Janna, Lulu shields, he is going to kill everybody.
Absolutely the case, and you got to be very worried about this Altec, who's going for a fairly greedy build, but now adds Quicksilver's Sash to deal with no exhaust in the team, but he can remove challenging smite debuff, he can remove maybe some slows and whatnot. I guess Dark Binding being the big one if they can catch him out. Teammate won a game just like this one actually against Coast way back when. A Binding caught Mash and the game ended off of that one.
Oh wow. Maple Street picks up an Elixir.
Yeah, he needs the power spike now.
He needs the power spike. They know they need to be able to secure this dragon. Really, getting 5 dragons is maybe the only way Teammate wins this game.
This is a very scary situation. 1,000 gold lead. Dodo takes a bit of damage, but not too terribly much. Dragon gets aggroed. Helios got to be maybe a bit careful. Still no armor on Sejuani. No one on this team, actually. Maple Street is in a position to carry these team fights. Binding does not catch Altec. Ulti misses. And Dragon resets one more time. Altec has to dodge the wall. This is actually great position for Teammate to take Dragon. There's no way to carry. Dragon 4.
Dragons disengage.
Helios puts some damage in, but of course, there's no Glacial Prison. That could have been an Avalon ulti to lock the team up. Shockwave on a 4! They catch Paul Belzer. Shouldn't be too much damage. It'll hurt, but Teammate survives. Get out with their lives and a kill.
Some elite Orianna play right there by Slushy, catching a Shockwave onto 4 people when everyone was expecting to disengage. Oh boy. That's something Winterfox can't have happen, and they do not successfully contest that dragon. A very poor ultimate by Helios' Sejuani prevented their ability to properly stop that dragon. Now, start the timer. 6 minutes until that dragon fight. I mean, look at this one more time. Oh my god, beautiful. Maple Street had already burned his collateral damage. so there wasn't much follow-up beyond that Ori. That was just a one-man army of Slushi. And they're going for Baron because of the respawns and the backtimers. This is a preemptive move, but boy, would this stall it well for 5 Dragons.
4,000 health left in that one. No one's here to stop it. Baron, in fact, will go Team 8's way. They said they were supposed to be the better team. They wanted to make a statement with this game, but they are fighting tooth and nail to stay ahead in this one. Only off that Baron did they finally claw in a 700 gold lead here. Winterfox.
Maple didn't even have to drink his elixir because a fight never happened.
That's true.
They were just kiting back and forth. So he gets to save it on that gold, and they get the objectives that the elixir were for without even having to consume the cost. So Team 8, some very team-like plays there off the back of Slushi's Orianna's zone control. Altec also, you know, picking up that QSS is halfway between some really important items he needs to truly carry this one. I don't know if he's going to have time to get those before Dragon number 5 fight.
Well, we'll see if that ends up being the case, though. Knockback on Altec, they're trying to save the turret. Calitro's happy to burn his ult for that. Belter still without Requiem right now, though, and means they can't cash in on the damage onto Dodo right now. But Team 8 wearing the Baron buff have to feel pretty darn confident as they just continue to grab gold into their coffers. And the Zonya's done, and Calitros allows him to, as you were saying before, play that Altec assassin role if he needs to.
Yeah.
A bit more safely.
I mean, something that's a little bit strange about this Altec build as well, or not strange, but just inconvenient. QSS upgrades to Mercurial Scimitar with the BF Sword as a build path.
Yeah.
Vamp Scepter, Bloodthirster with the BF Sword as a build path. But in order to complete that item, he can't actually put a BF Sword into his inventory.
Yep.
He has to upgrade cleanly to the final component, which
3,000 goldish.
Yeah, a huge amount of gold he's going to have to sit on his inventory. Because currently Altec is sitting on
1,300.
1,350 gold. And since they're kind of pushed in, I don't think he actually gets to convert that gold by the time the 5th dragon comes up.
Maybe just go
which
Cutlass.
Is incredibly inconvenient. You almost want to.
Yeah.
Because if they don't get that 5th dragon, they may lose.
Ooh, attempted ult, not gonna happen. Helios doesn't get the play. Top lane tier 2 goes down to the rest of Team 8. Calitrol's able to bait the team around.
Helios needs much more patience with that Sejuani ultimate. He is burning it, and it's allowing Team 8 to make power plays around the map.
This power play right now is for top lane. Double cannon minion, single cannon minion, no cannon minion. With the inhib turret down to 3/4. Counting backwards is fun, and Team 8 counting backwards until Dragon respawns.
Whoa.
Altec? Yep. Look what I can do. Doesn't go for the chase. I was wondering if he's going to go for the ulti and just try to chunk down Gragas. Helios, no ulti for a while. Nice bit of poke down, but it mostly gets minions here. A little bit of damage into Slushi, but not too much. But the shielded turret not taking too much meaningful damage. And there we go, 2 minutes on Dragon. Team 8 has to know that's going to be a big pickup for them if they can play just patiently enough. We've seen teams get a little bit impatient before these spawns and allow that buff to go over. Winterfox, of course, still with 0 dragons means they're actually missing some combat stats that Team 8 just have. But this state of the game, 6% AD AP is actually a lot of gold worth of stats.
Dragon denial becomes a very important thing as well. Altec is actually just justified in taking all this jungle because he needs to get to that item upgrade. Pobelter just got his. He got his death cap. Huge damage now. And Glebe, he's trying to get wards.
Gonna be close. Has to ult for it. All right, just enough health. But that's his ulti down. That's Mikhail's Crucible down. That's his flash down.
Helios' Locket was also expended to try and keep him alive. It's a wonder that Slushi wasn't able to complete that execution. And because of the timer on Dragon, the ultimate from Slushi will be back for it.
Ooh,
great play by Slushi.
That's very clutch that it will be there. We're going to be about 20 seconds late on Monsoon and even more on Glebe's Flash and a lot on the Mikhail. So there will not be a Mikhail's for this Dragon fight. It will be the Quicksilver Sash to get away from a binding. If that does happen to Altec here, Team 8 a minute early, look for ward control. One over the wall, through the pink away from the red buff, put another green down near the enemy red buff. That's what they want.
Yeah, and because of all the jungle farm, Altec does complete a Bloodthirster, so he made it through the power trough he was undergoing with those items sitting in his inventory. They have Death Cap Void Staff on Lulu, Death Cap on Karthus. The item power spikes are actually very real for Winterfox, as long as Altec can stay protected in this fight. And they need to make sure they go in before that Dragon becomes
a poke. Ult hits Porpoise. They're going to almost evaporate the poor soul. He's not going to beat Altec in this one. That's a 1 for 0. Helios gets out safely. He just bought time. Altec on the wings. Dragon's up now. No smite, 4v5.
Jungler down, but also, Altec just had to burn his flash because he came around the wrong side of the wall. They're actually going to try and take this with Maple and Slushie. No smite. Helios is low. There's no smites on either side. That Dragon's going down.
It's going to go down. It will be picked up, but it's still a 5v4. Dodo falls. 5v3. The chase of the Maple Street. Shockwave hits. Isn't enough. The exhausts are in, but Slushie doesn't quite deal enough damage. The Dragon either. He's trying to survive. Glebe getting auto attack down, and there are kills coming through. It's 3 picked up by the 5 Dragon team of Team 8. Pobelter's got nowhere to go. He's getting some slows down, but he's out of mana. He's just out of mana. Like,
they're gonna be
Cali can pick up what he wants, right?
About this, actually, because Pobelter has his ultimate up, so they don't want to kill him.
Oh, wow.
And give him mana back, because you don't need mana when you're dead to cast your ultimate.
There's the auto attack. He gets him. Can he dodge the Skittles?
He might. Does he kill him now?
Not with the W on. The damage reduction is too much.
Oh.
So the fight ends up going 4 for 3 in favor of Team 8. Altec pushed down mid in the meantime. Dragon buff, by the way, is only on 2 people.
Yep.
So Dragon 5 is barely worth Dragon 5 at this point. It's more like Dragon 4.4.
4, yep. You're absolutely right.
Math, yes! Ah, I feel so good about this.
Dragon 4.4, you got it. But it's on an 80 carry, probably the best wearer of that Dragon buff. Take a look at this again. Helios is low. They get Dragon 5, but they finish off Dodo so quickly, and holy crap, that damage from the Orianna. A sliver away from killing Altec outright. If that happened, I feel like Team 8 would have taken the clean ace here. But Glebe throws up that slight heal onto Altec, allowing for a very, very slight escape. And now it's a 7-0 Lucian with tons of support on the team, looking to just put the team on his back and carry the game.
Well, it's going to be largely up to Altec here. Pobelter is trying to be effective. His Void Staff is, of course, done. So the damage output's here with a Death Cap on top of that one. One last item likely to be a Zonia's for Pobelter. I think it's more likely than Luden's Echo. We haven't seen it yet today, but it could actually fit the bill.
It's actually kind of interesting. Altec with the Quicksilver Sash. Yet I almost feel like a Banshee's Veil would be a better item. He's almost getting one-shot by the Orianna, and it's not like he can stop the Vi from ulting him.
Wow, Porpoise a bit scary though. Almost gonna get some real damage to this one. The shield though makes it a bit difficult. Wow. They burned Mikhail's Crucible to chase down, but Gragas' bot lane pushing in on the base. He is one of the Dragon 5 wearers, by the way. Pobelter looking to play aggressively. TP is coming in, but the one-shot onto Janna already happened. No shockwave needed. Team 8, 5v4. Pobelter going in for the damage. He knows he's going to die for this one, and that is the kill. Now Slushie's got to be afraid. Pops the Zonia's. In goes Porpoise. Looks for Altec. Is it going to be enough damage? Looks like the answer is no. Altec gets the kill on back. It's a 4 versus 3 right now, but Altec feels good. Got him. Wow! Cali Trolls one-shots the poor Lucian. And Avalon now on the way out. Helios will also die. Only Avalon alive versus 4 members of Team 8.
How good is Slushie, though, to start that fight? Finishes off Glebe, saves his ultimate, blows up someone else, and it allows Cali Trolls to make the highlight play as Altec tries to assassinate him. Avalon also trying his own for it, but that's an 80 carry up with some minions, 1 person defending, and some decently long death timers. Inhibitor goes to Team 8.
Dodo dies to buy some time and keep Avalon out of the game, and it will allow them to take down the first inhibitor. Now, Baron is up, and the respawns are 12 seconds away from Karthus, 25 for the jungle and AD carry. Team 8 can potentially rush back to that in time before the key respawns, though they are missing their own jungler and support. Maybe it peters out for a bit, but this sort of reset on the map might give Winterfox time to claw something back in.
And we also have to think of the context and the pressure these guys are under. I mean, this is a 5-9 Winterfox team against a 7-7 Team 8 team, really needing these wins for playoffs and to avoid relegation, and they're both trying to make plays. Glebe was trying to get in range to slow Slushie because they knew they needed to finish him down. He gets blown up. At that point, Pobelter is able to work around Cali Trolls to get in the middle of the fight, but he as well is taken down by Slushie. It's just craziness. Altec is so powerful that all eyes are on him, and he thinks he's untouchable here since there's no barrel. How could Cali Trolls possibly kill him? Well,
that way.
Just like that. Scimitar completed onto Altec, even more damage, but this Baron is actually probably going the way of Team 8.
Well, Winterfox are looking, but Baron will die before they arrive.
He's
Helios comes in, but he's going to drop down almost right away. Lands a one-man stun. dies. Engage for Cali Trolls. Blows up one. Second one falls. It's a 5v2. This is going to be game for Team 8. They wanted to make a statement. It took them 44 minutes, but they are almost certainly going to win the game right now. There's the ult. Altec falls down. Only Pobelter left alive. And now comes the push to take down inhibitor number 2, and most likely the Nexus.
What an unfortunate way for Winterfox to lose this game. They all in a Baron that I feel like they could have been able to defend with their superior team fight, but they play into the skirmish game of Team 8. Helio suicides before the team is ready to follow up on him, and then Team 8 runs them down. Just Pobelter left, not anymore. This is going to be the game for
Slush takes the black shield, out he goes. Zonius, if you have it. All right, no casualties yet for this one. Caligulus barely lives, actually. But this will be GG. Team 8 improve in the standings. They're currently in the playoffs, and Winterfox have a lot of room to go.
Team 8 with their 8th win of the season, moving themselves above 500. Big congratulations to them because that was a battle. They control 5 dragons. They get 2 Barons. By the end of it, they're up in the team fights, but they had to deal with Altec, who was on a mission that game to carry. And they did it. Honestly, Slushy's Orianna and Cali Trolls' damage dealer from the top lane. 7-1-3 on Gragas, including some key assassinations throughout the game.
Yeah.
Grant Team 8 that well-earned victory.
And there were still no armor items at all, really, on the front line of Team 8. Azonia's for Cali Trolls, that was it. I mean, Altec had the ability to kill anyone he wanted to if he could keep from getting hit. And for 90% of the game, that was the case, but just at the very end there, not enough things that he could dodge. The key assassination you mentioned of Cali Trolls, that was a big deal. Slushy overall, though, looks like the LeBlanc ban, not quite enough. LeBlanc and Orianna need to go away from this team if you want Team 8 to not have that mid lane carry pressure, maybe. Maybe giving him a free farm lane with Karthus, not the right way to go about it either. Belter, not with a good game.
Slushy feels like the last of a dying breed of Orianna players, but he plays it amazingly well. The patience he has with his shockwaves is very, very impressive. He turns himself into an assassin who also has a bunch of utility, you know?
Yeah.
When he's getting going on that Ori, out-farmed Pobelter throughout that entire game. And like I said, a very hard-fought victory for Team 8 there.
Okay, so Team 8, they're sitting at 8-7. They're tied with Gravity. They're one game ahead of Team Liquid.
Yep.
Again, top 6 for playoffs. They are tied 5th, 6th with Gravity, so the very bottom of that setup right here. Now, the last 3 games for Team 8 to play, Cloud9 tomorrow, CLG next week, both very difficult games, and then Gravity themselves in the last game of the season. I mean, that playoff race is very close. Not to mention the fact that Team Liquid, they always have the potential to be amazing, yeah, and jump right back in and pull that spot down. So it's getting real close to the line, but we're looking at Team 8 poised to be a playoff team.
It's going to be really exciting. I mean, the end of the season is kind of sneaking up on us. We're used to the normal LCS length.
Yeah.
You know, 11 weeks, 28 games, everyone playing each other 4 times.
Yeah.
This 18-game season is creating a lot of really close races.
Yeah.
And I also really love the fact that the season is in a little bit of flux now, even from a champion select perspective. I mean, this game we saw Helios on a Sejuani where he did not look very comfortable.
No.
And this is something we talked about even at the beginning of the show. Who's going to be able to adapt and use these things well? Because I know Team 8's been practicing a lot of those tanks, as we saw in that feature from Porpoise.
Sure.
But his Vi in this game, with the combo they had, was what they were comfortable running, and it eventually granted them the victory.
Yeah, I want to see if Winterfox can improve themselves. I have yet to see like the Whimsy and Sejuani run up to the point blank ults. They were all max range desperate ones, and you know, it got kited out. So grats, of course, to Team 8, but for now we're going to send it down to Riv, who's standing by on the red side.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As always, fantastic cast on the day. I'm joined by Slushy, the man, on LeBlanc, on Orianna, on whoever's about to carry the game for Team 8, and a fantastic job again today. Coming into this game, it was pretty back and forth, but the inventories from you guys said, we're going hard, we're going to buy for damage. Was that kind of the idea from the get-go?
The idea was just to farm it out till 6 and then farm and then take our objective was to take the objectives, and they gave us dragon after dragon. And they also gave us the Baron, which got us very far ahead.
And with Cali Trolls being able to bring out, obviously, Gragas, he's done it before, but what kind of, comfort does that give to you guys? Do you feel all right that he's playing these? You can kind of just sit back and let him have fun?
Honestly, well, we put the champions that Cali wants to try through a trial, and if it works out in scrims, then we can bring it out.
All right, you guys got Cloud9 coming up tomorrow. Obviously, faltering a little bit, but able to find their ways in some spots. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Cloud9 will definitely be hard, but we'll work to keep our objective strong and catch them.
All right, Slushi, congrats on the win. I do want to give you a second here, your request to honor a recent friend's passing. Please do so.
I have a recent friend that passed away, Justin Toyosato. I just want to give a shout out to him because he's always wanted a shout out from when he was around.
All right, well, I'm sure he's smiling down on you, especially for the win. Congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow. Now we're going to close out today. Throw it over to the guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Riv, and I just want to take a moment to let Slushi know that our thoughts are, with him in this time, and we're very sorry to hear that about your friend. But with that win for the team, which was a fabulous one for Team 8, I want to pull up the standings to see how the teams are arranged. And tied for the top spot and setting up tomorrow's battle for first place are rivals CLG and TSM. Now, both teams have secured their playoff spots and are now playing for seeding. Then one game back in third, it's Cloud9. Team Impulse is in fourth place with Gravity and Team 8 sharing fifth. In seventh, it's Team Liquid, and with Team Dignitas and Winterfox tied for eighth. Then in last place, and now locked into auto relegation, we have Team Coast. Now, with this graphic in mind, with the standings as they are, I want to look at the playoff race, particularly as it pertains to the two teams that we just watched, looking at that, anywhere from 8th to 6th place, looking for that playoff berth.
Yeah, so as we saw, Team Liquid is now down. They're kind of on the button here at the 7th place spot where everybody below is looking at them. Dignitas and Winterfox especially. They have games that are just coming up next week. They're actually both playing each other, or playing Team Liquid. So those games are going to be very, very important for all teams involved.
Right, they're going to be huge two-game swings if they manage to take a game off of Team Liquid. And then for Team 8, now they only share that tie with Gravity, right? Yep. So in a sense, you've gotten rid of one of the contenders. I mean, there's still the possibility that Liquid pops back up into that group, but that knowing that you've at least lessened that kind of chase pack into the playoff challenge is got to feel good for them. But it's not going to be an easy road with the matchups that they have coming up.
Yeah, they do have Cloud9, CLG, and then Gravity themselves, right? But then Gravity have Dignitas, Cloud9, and Team 8. So they're both playing Cloud9 and each other. It's just one is playing CLG, the other one's playing Dignitas. Dignitas, though, they did actually show a lot of showings today that they can come together as a team if a Zingy is initiating. And with tank junglers back in the meta, I think he has a lot more tools to do that, right? Because he loved things like Fiddlesticks, where he's like, I can jump in and start a fight. He was playing Vi, which he was comfortable on, jump the fight, right? That, I think, is really good for them. So there's a lot of things that can happen here in these last 3 games to jumble up the standings, and I think we're going to see even more upsets.
Yeah, and we saw how close the games between these teams that are right next to each other in the standings can be. That last game especially, it's going to be a rough road for all these teams that are down in the sort of bottom quadrant. But some good things for Team 8 they can look forward to. Kylie Trolls finally is a huge player on the team. We were looking for it all season for him to carry, and he had some really big plays with that Gragas.
Yeah, and also just their jungler built full tank right after. He's like, all right, I'm going to get a Warmogs. I'm just going to be this tank initiator. Callie, you build full damage and pop some kids. And he did it.
Right, and then for Winterfox, though, just not quite looking themselves. They've had a number of roster shakeups, right, and things like that. So they're back to the original, back to what they had at the beginning of the split, but it didn't pan out in their favor. And as they mentioned, trying to make those adjustments into the jungle and Helios not finding success on that Sejuani.
Yeah, you say, they're back at the old roster, but they didn't go back to the old champions. The old champions were the hard engage on both Avalon and Helios. The Lulu for Avalon, they spent a lot of time camping it. They felt really worried about him, I felt like. And then even though there is hard engage on Helios, as they said multiple times, it didn't look like he was comfortable with the Sejuani ultimate and wasn't able to land very many Sejuani ultimates. So maybe more point and click and some extra follow-up from Avalon.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Well, anything can change. There's still a lot of room for those standings to shake up in the next few days. Of course, anything can change with our games tomorrow. We got 5 of them, starting with Team Dignitas versus Gravity. Then it's the big one, our rematch of the El Clasico Team Solo Mid versus Counter Logic Gaming, with first place hanging in the balance. And we'll conclude Week 8 with Coast versus Team Liquid. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
this is a huge game for Ghost, needless to say. Loss means the team is locked into auto-relegation. A win means they live to fight another day. Teleports at the same time. Either are stopped, so we're gonna get a good one. The Battle Royale in the bottom lane. Impact's gonna get blown away on that one. Was it Heaven saving him? The turnaround. One last shot. How deep is Apollo gonna go? And it's going to be Impulse taking down Coast. Death charge onto Piglet. It is going to be a deep dive for him. Dominate, making sure that he's healed on the back line. Cloud9 take down Team Liquid. Very risky play by TSM. Santorin is at half HP. Bjergsen down as soon as he comes back. That's going to be the lockdown. Double kill for Cobb. Gravity with a fantastic matchup versus Team Solomid up at Katowice. Come up with a win.
Yeah? Are you Cobb?
Someone asked if he was Cobb?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yo, you're high, right? And that's Cobb?
I was like,
yeah,
we're done here.
Cobb's there.
Jake, how many times do you burp in a day?
Especially into your mic.
Here comes Zion on the juke back. He's going to dodge the Q. Shift through the outplay. He's going to get away from Zion's fire. Yes, he does. The minion throw.
Tower. End the game. Charming. Wait, we might have to fight. No, end the game. End the game. Nice.
That's the game. CLG in 37 minutes. Shields come in time to keep him alive a few more seconds. Double kill from Requiem. It's a 4 versus 3 right now, but all that kills. Wow! Cali trolls. GG. Team 8 improve in the standings.